Absolutely, Mike. If I may make a suggestion, we can show one of the two videos now and the other one an extra, unless you want to do differently. But this first slide that I got here is from a kind of centrist political organization called Wir in Wir in Switzerland. The headline is from their website interview, unnoticed by the public, but it's getting more protest. Switzerland is operating the only WHO bio laboratory. And I think from there we can go with the first primary video that explains the basis of this and what people are protesting. It has to do with the Spies laboratory and people's perceptions of what they're doing there. So let's show that first video if we can do that.
A lab leak in Switzerland would be a major problem, not just here in Switzerland, but around the world. The BioHub BSL Lab 4 here in Spiez, Canton Bern, is being facilitated as a dual-use gain-of-function facility for the World Health Organization. And there is no oversight by the Swiss government. Who has the oversight? Who knows what's going on up there? They don't have any transparency. So people are awakening and they want to know what's going on in the lab. My name is Christian Oesch. I'm the president of the Swiss Association Wir. I grew up here in the hills in the Bernese Oberland. We're not out of touch. We're really connected to nature, and that makes us realize how much freedom really means to us. And we do everything possible to maintain our freedom, our sovereignty, and especially our neutrality of Switzerland. The Swiss government is now allowing bioweapons on Swiss soil. And when more people find out the beautiful Swiss country, the Swiss flag, the Swiss chocolate, the Swiss cheese, it's extremely naive because Switzerland has been occupied. It acts like the operations center for a lot of the wrongdoings worldwide. And it is the Swiss Federal Council that is responsible for what's happening here in Switzerland, with obviously the diplomatic immunity for all these organizations that are causing a lot of havoc right now. I would say it's evil, and the Swiss government needs to stop the allowance for this to continue on here in Switzerland. I believe that we need to revoke diplomatic immunity for the World Health Organization, and we need to invoke the spirit of the Swiss people for sovereignty, neutrality, and freedom.
Very interesting. Of course, it's worth noting, Mike, that there are different schools of thought on gain of function. Some consider viruses to be inert, just chaff, biological chaff, you might say. Others question the very existence of viruses and say bacterial agents are more of a threat. At any rate, there's considerable concern among the Swiss people. The other video has to do with what Tulsi Gabbard has to say about the broader health situation with regards to some of this. And I think I can basically conclude today, and we can carry on into extra a little if we can, that let's remind ourselves too that, and we can show this slide if you'd like, Mike, that exercise Pegasus is getting pretty imminent here, a tier 1 exercise to take place between September and November this year. One thing that's mentioned in this slide that I didn't mention 3 weeks ago when I first reported on exercise Pegasus, and will it mirror exercise Cygnus, I believe that was before the COVID pandemic. There's a local resilience forum, several local resilience forums, and I believe the next slide after this mentions that. And the resilience forums, the listing, and we can put this in the show notes, the listing provides lots of email addresses, and the resilience forums are made up of local authorities, emergency services, local public services, the Environment Agency. So it provides a lot of contacts and email addresses at this website, a UK government website that would enable concerned citizens who watch UK Column to contact these people and get involved and ask lots of questions. That's the most important thing at this point. And we can talk later about a special designation that the UK got from the WHO that facilitates exercise Pegasus, in my opinion, and related matters. But at any rate, Mike.
No, but Mark, go ahead. Go ahead and mention this, because I think this is important. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more about this.
Yeah, this just came up. On August 7th, the WHO officially designated not only Health Canada and not only a ministry in Japan, Health, Labor and Welfare, but also the UK's Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, or MHRA, as WHO listed authorities, WLAs, World Health Organization listed authorities, a status granted to national authorities that meet the highest international regulatory standards for medical products. With these latest designations, the WHO expands the growing list of these WLAs, now involving 39 agencies across the world, supporting faster and broader access to quality assured medical products, particularly in low and middle income countries. What that really means is they want to make sure that any country, rich or poor, especially poorer ones, are markets for vaccines and mRNA technology, mRNA injections, which goes along with what James Roguski has been saying, to get access worldwide and establish regional centers worldwide to make sure that no arm is left unjabbed, you might say, if possible, when they possibly declare the next pandemic. And when you look at Exercise Pegasus and precedents to that, and the precedent in the US to the COVID pandemic, which is Event 201, will these drills become real? And then would another crackdown ensue? And would those crackdowns be even worse than before? So this is a time to be super vigilant in the UK and beyond. So Mark, that should do it for now.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Mark. Thank you. And thank you to Vanessa. We got to leave the news program there for today. Join us if you're a UK column member for some UK column news extra in a couple of minutes. But I keep totally confused by the fact that Vanessa's on today, because Patrick and Vanessa swapped. Patrick goes to the Beautiful Days Festival this week. It is Friday, and hope everyone has a great weekend. Join us for extra if you can, but otherwise we'll see you 1 p.m. as usual on Monday. See you then.